Hi, everyone. Good morning. I see our participants rolling in now. I think we've got everyone joined. I'm Christina with Lush Experiences, and we are so grateful for your time today to join us with our amazing Natalia from the Villa d'Este collection. She has so much news to share. Let me tell you, there are so many exciting things happening. Every time I talk to Natalia these days, she has new things on the horizon that have happened, are happening, and we couldn't be more excited to continue to grow with the group. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet today and give Natalia the time. We will do a Q&A at the end, so if you do have questions as we go through the presentation, I'll throw them in the chat and we'll answer all of them at the end unless something is pressing at the time. But with that, I'm just going to turn it over to Natalia to share it all. Hi,
Thank you so much. Hi.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Christine. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. There is a big group of you. Some of you been here before. Some of you done this webinar with me, so you can actually follow all the news and how we're rolling the Villa d'Este la Collezione. There is a lot to say today, so hopefully it's not going to be too superficial for some of you who perhaps are for the first time joining. So I would like to offer as well, perhaps after this presentation, if you feel like you didn't have enough about one of the properties since the group is growing, perhaps we can do something one-to-one, but today we're going to focus a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit more about the nutshell about the whole collection, but I'll focus on the news as well and on the juicy part. Okay, so let's start. I'm Natalia. I'm the director of sales for Villa d'Este La Collezione, and La Collezione has been launched just a couple of months ago. So we launched it in October. It's four fantastic, fabulous properties that we have at the moment. Three of them fully operating right now. One of them very iconic, Villa d'Este. So that's the whole name of the La Collection that takes the name from the iconic property on the Lake Como in Cernobbio. Another one which is one of your favorites as well. I know that some of you are booking quite a lot of that one is Villa La Massa in Florence, just outside of city center. So we're going to touch on this one too. We do have a beautiful new property in the city of Como, which is called Palazzo Venezia. So we're going to touch on that one and exciting new opening or luxury apartments. So a little bit more details about that part towards the end. So then we can obviously roll to our questions as well. So yeah, let's start with Villa La Massa and just a little reminder. So again, it will be in a nutshell. We are a historical property that goes back to the 13th century as a house, historical house of a Florentine family, just on the Arno River. So great location. It's a 54 key property, you name it. We are leading, we are virtuoso, we are Amex, we are, also signature. The property is a fantastic property. What I would like you as well, all of you, to take away from here is what we are and what we are not. So it's easier to sell for your clients, and a lot of our agents, they sell Villa La Massa extremely well for the not first timers to Florence, because as you know, the first timers, they just want to be attached literally to the city center, and then they usually regret it. So for the next trip, they already know they don't want to be in Florence. Overwhelming, heated, a lot going on. So it is much nicer to stay in a more residential area. We do run a shuttle, so you can see this little Google map I put you here. It's only 14 minutes in a prime time, so like a high traffic between the property and the city center Ponte Vecchio. It works extremely and beautifully well with our clients from early morning until late evening. So you could potentially use it for your sightseeing, but you can also go out for dinner without driving the car if you do want to have that glass of wine in Florence. Okay, the property is beautiful. It's not just for the families. Look at that. I mean, it speaks itself. It's a product which has been refurbished. We're going to show you a couple of pictures as well of the actual interior. It's a 54 keys, like I said, 6 different buildings around the property. You do have that pool. That's the selling point. That's what you want to give to to those families with the teenage kids when they stand in a queue waiting to get to for the half a day to get to Uffizi, to those museums under the sun, and they sweat and they cry and they don't want to do all this historical part, but you're still making them do it. When they're going to come back to the hotel, you do want to give them the swimming pool. Okay, there is no question asked about it. It is a beautiful property. You know, you can sell it really well to those clients, you know, that they've been to Florence, that they perhaps coming on a honeymoon, so they do want some relaxation and couple of those, you know, days that they just quiet. And if we decide to stay by the pool, that's what we can do. But we can also go to the city center if we feel like we need to. Look at the product, you know, and it's a refurbished property. Just before the COVID hit, we made it brand new. It does smell new, you know, I mean, in a nice way. You know, you can see the finishing, the fabrics and everything. It's just a fabulous property. Two different restaurants that we've got on property as well, in case you do feel like you don't want to go to, you know, to the city center one of the nights. You just can stay by Verrocchio, where, by the way, you eating by the River Arno, which is, you know, which is fantastic. That's where the Ponte Vecchio is located. And then, you know, otherwise in the restaurant, which is a little bit more casual, by pool. You know, the most exciting part of Villa La Massa, and I wanted to start with this one today. Oh yeah, besides that wonderful pool, you can see it from different angles. It's actually the very exciting little recognition program we would like to run for you, because we do have some great agents. You know, they are supporting the property. They fell in love with the property. You know, you sometimes do have those fussy clients that you're not sure where to send them. And I can assure you that the service is such a high level that since the past 3 years, you're not going to find a bad review of Villa La Massa. But we do run the recognition program because for every booking that any of you subscribe today to this webinar call, we're only doing it for you guys. In the month of February, we would like to gift you, for every single booking made for Villa La Massa for the season, it would be $100 a gift card. Lush is going to help us to facilitate that. I believe we can do it between the Amex and also the Amazon voucher. It will be based on obviously consumed booking. So when the client will depart, we will be gifting you with that, but we will keep a track of it. Yeah, I know it's a busy month. I know a lot of you are having a lot of inquiries, you know, for the whole Italy. For us, this property, as you know, the competition is feisty. We're not a hotel in Florence, but you know, when you staying in Florence, it could be, or going and wanting to see Florence is such a great option to have, to give it to the client so they can actually make that conscious decision. Let's stay a little bit outside, but just have the access to the city center. So remember about that. And that would be our little recognition for the month of February, just for you guys. On top of that, we do have a great promotion at Villa La Massa that we're launching at the moment only for the agents. Okay. So for those of you, as I know you might like using some third parties or DMCs or perhaps some tour operators, which are your historical partners, we can't extend those because, as you know, they have some special conditions with us. They get elevated commission. But with you directly, we would be offering a guaranteed upgrade to the next category at the time of booking. What that means, if you make a booking, you have an inquiry now, you're going to make a booking or an offer to your client and you want to get a basic room for them, they will have a guaranteed upgrade to the next category. This is valid up to junior suites because we don't have that many, you know, I don't have that many top suites. So if you buy a suite, I don't have many presidentials I can upgrade you to. But, you know, all those categories up to junior suites, they will have a guaranteed upgrade. Okay. Which is fantastic value if you think about it. So for those of clients that you can think of, they would appreciate it or they would want a little bit more for their money, that's a great option. Okay. In case there are questions about this one, you know, I will be sending a little bit of a follow-up where we're going to put all those details in. So, you know, so we can definitely discuss that in more. Okay. Then from Florence, I'm taking you to Como because there is a lot going on in Como. And as you know, and some of you, I probably just, you know, just seen a week ago when I was traveling in US, there is so much going on on the lake. Okay, there are new openings, you know, we on our toes, but in a nice way, because what I would like you today to take away from this about Villa d'Este, that you know what, when you booking your client to Villa d'Este, it's not like your client is buying just a room or a stay on this iconic, you know, lake. You are giving them something else. It's a lifestyle. Okay, they buy piece of a very exclusive living. You know, some of them, some of your clients, they're already living that life and they would like to have a similar thing when they're going on vacation. Well, this is the place to be because, you know, I mean, can you think of anybody on the lake they would have more desirable, you know, area, like would be located in a more desirable part? As you can see on the map, you know, we on the first, we call it first bacino, which is the first part. That's where all the billionaires live, not mentioning George Clooney being up the road, but having the access to all the lake. We have such a long shore, you know, who's been here, and I know a lot of you have visited Villa d'Este, or a lot of you are booking Villa d'Este. This is what you're getting to your clients, the exclusivity. Okay, they can rub shoulders with the most important people, famous people, but not the ones they want to be seen, the ones that they actually, you know, look for this understated elegance and, you know, and luxury. It's a gated property is extremely important, okay, that you know that you can you know that you have to tell it to your clients. It's not us being snobby. We just, you know, we just allowing whoever needs to enter the property, they have to have a purpose. That's why we do have a security check, not check, but the security that letting just the guests in and people who have a reservation or people they have appointment at Villa d'Este. Otherwise you don't have the, you know, you shouldn't be here. So, you know, that's also to make sure that, you know, it's extremely safe and we know who's on property. So that's important. Besides the fact that, you know, that you literally putting your client in the hands of professionals. Okay. So we're famous for service. We are a founding partner of Leading. Okay. We are Amex. We are Virtuoso. You know, if you think that we old one, then you're wrong because we are updating the property. As you can see, you know, this is one of our presidential suites and it is a classical style, but we try to make it look current. Okay, we try to put a little bit more subtle colors, a little bit more brightness, you know, but we're never going to be a contemporary hotel. So I think I just, you know, want to make sure that, you know, that you're aware of that. This is a picture of the newly refurbished suite, you know, for example, just to give you an idea where we're heading. There might be an announcement in a couple of months, but I don't want to go into much into ahead of myself. So just bear with us on that. But you know, we are getting closer to a refurbishment of the property, okay, which is very exciting. You know, just moving on a little bit, you know, the beautiful villas, the beautiful monumental gardens. I mean, this is, you know, something that you can't get anywhere else. Okay, there are beautiful properties out there, and there's going to be more big names out there, but there is only one Villa d'Este, and I think a lot of you would agree to this. It was a house of a priest, of a cardinal. I mean, we have a national monument there, you know, a beautiful, famous pool. Now everybody has it, but ours was the very first pool, and it's actually the biggest one, I believe, floating pool on the lake. This is some of those experiences, you know, and the feel of, you know, the place that I don't think it could be replaced or it could be placed anywhere else on the lake. So, you know, just think about it that way, how special that property is. We do have a couple of pictures for the, you know, for the festive season, just to show you how the festive season finished this year. And some of you had a chance to see it. Every year is different. Every year we do spend a significant amount of money on those beautiful decorations. It's crazy that New Year's Eve gets booked up. We are fully booked for the Christmas and New Year's Eve, and it's been a great fun this year. So keep it in mind in case you're looking for something which is, you know, which is different. Now, from Villa d'Este, I'm taking you to the city of Como. So some of you heard about it. We talked about it a little bit last year. We already operating and running since 6th of December, Palazzo Venezia. Okay, Palazzo Venezia is an 18-bedroom hotel that it belongs to us. We did a little bit of a changing. We did a bit of a rebranding. It is a leading hotels of the world hotel already. It is Chase, it's Amex, in case it means, you know, a lot to some of you. We're not yet Virtuoso, but we did apply. We did apply for signature and also Internova. So we're just in the process of getting that hotel on, you know, on track. Why Palazzo Venezia? It's not to, you know, it's absolutely not to confuse you, but I can feel that, you know, some of you might think that Palazzo Venezia takes the name from the fact that the hotel has a very Venetian style. It's one of the most beautiful buildings in Como, but it's very Venetian. So it's a shame not to call it Palazzo Venezia. That's what it is. It used to be the silk factory. I mean, can you imagine back in the days they were making such a beautiful factories that you were just making silk, you know, and it's beautiful. It's very different today what the factories are about. So I think it's lovely to remember that it's a historical building. You can see it's quite contemporary, beautiful, but only 18 bedrooms, 1 8. So a tiny property. Look at the staircase. I mean, it just looks stunning. Okay. Greatly working for the couples. Okay. We do have some connecting options, but bear in mind that you're in a city center. It might be, it's a city, which is medieval city. It's a very cute city. You're in a 5 minutes walk from a great Duomo, beautiful church. Okay. You are front of the lake. You're on the corner of the lake and the actual Piazza Cavour. This is one of the restaurants that we're looking at, which is currently on the rooftop. That's where the breakfast is served. And this is the views that you're getting from the rooftop, but also from some of the bedrooms, because obviously not all of them they facing the lake, but a lot of them do. So also for Palazzo Venezia, we're going to be running this recognition program, about $100 gift voucher for any booking that you could possibly give us in the month of February for any time, really. Bear in mind, Palazzo Venezia is already operating as a whole year operating property. So any booking that you might get for us for this season until end of the year, let us know. And we will be happily recognizing you for that. So that's for Palazzo Venezia and also for Villa La Massa. And what's most important, that the guests of Palazzo Venezia will have access to Villa d'Este. So perhaps you do have the clients that they've been many times to Como, or perhaps, there is something going on the lake. Sometimes there are those weddings, they're taking up all the hotels around and you can't find availability, and you never thought about the city of Como, but now you do have a 5-star hotel there. So it would be a place to go, and you still would have the access to Villa d'Este Sporting Center. We do run a shuttle, which would be the car taking you from the Palazzo Venezia to Villa d'Este and taking you back. You can use the floating pool. You've got priority access to our restaurants, but you still need a reservation. Remember that. Anybody needs a reservation for our restaurants, even if you stay at Villa d'Este. Remember that, because those are busy restaurants sometimes. So it could be a great option, sometimes for your clients. And I know that a lot of agents are already using this hotel. It used to be called Vista Hotel. Now, at the moment, it's under Palazzo Venezia. It's totally bookable and available also through GDS, just in case. Now, Miralago. So I don't want to say the best for the last, but it's definitely the one that keeps us very excited. And I'll tell you why, because literally at the moment as we speak, it's under construction. It's a property that we're looking at, this beautiful building, which is just in front of you. You can see this white building doesn't look like that at the moment. It's a picture from the past. It used to be a former Miralago hotel, 4-star hotel, which we took over. We're already running a full refurbishment and the renovation of it. It's not refurbishment, it's a really renovation. And we're making luxury apartments there. Still 8 apartments, like I did say that last time. You are just outside of the gate of Villa d'Este. So we in a Cernobbio. So back from from Villa d'Este in Cernobbio to Palazzo Venezia, now we back to Cernobbio. That's where the apartments are. It's a short walk. It's a 5 minutes walk. You are front lake as well. You are in the city of Cernobbio, which is a cute town to be around, honestly. And it's not so touristic and commercial as you can think. It gets crowded, but it's a lovely crowd to be around, if you ask me. Plenty of restaurants around. This is how the building is going to look like on the 1st of June. We actually had an official press release today in Italian, so I will have it probably soon in English, and I'll be happily sharing it with all of you. It looks beautiful. Okay, not just, it's a haven, okay, because it's a heritage. Think about it like that. It's a Villa d'Este extension, heritage, but with a contemporary living, if that makes sense. 8 beautiful apartments, Café Miralago, which is just on the ground floor. This is to give you an idea how those apartments going to look like. They look stunning. It's been a Studio Droulet who's actually making it for us. And just to make you laugh, how big connection we have. Studio Droulet is run by the daughters of the previous owner of Villa d'Este. Okay, so now those daughters, they've been brought up at Villa d'Este. Okay, they were growing here and they became architects, 2 of them, and literally they making the Miralago apartments for us. So they do have a very strong connection. You can do feel a little bit of Villa d'Este into into that product. It will be, we already open for sale, so go ahead. I will be keeping you posted. How is it going? But look at those pictures. It looks beautiful, very clean, very subtle, a little bit of a contemporary living indeed, but with this lake flavor. Okay, we're not making something crazy here. Okay, I'm not giving you an experience, okay, on the lake. It's truly Italian because that's what it is. This is an Italian lake for an exclusive luxury Italian living, dolce vita. That's what it is, really. So, if you're coming on the lake, you do want a little bit of this George Clooney experience. Sometimes the guests, they don't want to admit it, but they actually after that, okay? And, probably your job is just to kind of get it out of them. So then we know better how to enhance that stay. Those 8 beautiful apartments at the moment, I did mention to you last time that the price range is from about 1,100 euros per night, inclusive breakfast from the 1 bedroom apartment, and that's a low season, which can actually go as much as it can go up to about 3,000. And it's the same for the big apartments, which are 2 bedroom apartments. They can start from about 3,000 and they can go up to the 15,000 a night. Now, on each floor, we have 2 apartments, right? Each apartment will have their name, and all those apartments, they will be priced differently because they do give you a different experience. And as you notice, you on the first floor might not see that much. This does see the lake, okay, but on the lower level. If you're staying on the last floor, you do see a lot more of the lake as well. So, in terms of the sizes, we about 90 to 100 square meters in terms of the 1 bedroom to 2 bedroom apartment. But they can be linked together. So each floor can actually come as a 3 bedroom apartment if you need to. The service is extension of Villa d'Este. So you have housekeeping, you have turn down service, you do have a breakfast continental, which can be delivered to your apartment because you do have a kitchen, it's an apartment, or you can just go downstairs and have it in this beautiful Miralago cafe. Okay, so this is just to really give you an idea, how special this product is. And since it is just really 5 minutes walk, we do pass by every day. We go and check on those works, and it's actually very exciting because it comes around really beautifully. So I will keep you posted. How is it going? At the moment, it's been announced as the 1st of June that we're opening. Let me know. We know it's going to be very busy on the lake, okay? So the season might require sometimes last minute bookings, and you might need something to surprise your clients, okay? You know who they are, so you know where to find us. It's for the first time on the Lake Como that we have branded apartments, which makes me wonder who could come up with that if not Villa d'Este, right? Because we are defining the Lake Como. At the end of the day, the history is history. It became famous, the lake, because Villa d'Este was born there as a luxury hotel. So 153 years ago. Not many establishments in Europe, they have this kind of a heritage and history. Please, if you have any questions, do let me know. I know we didn't cover everything. I know we touched base on all those. So there might be some interesting ones. And in case you do wish to have one-to-one, I'm always available. So for the next 3 weeks, I'm not traveling. I'll be delighted to help you. Otherwise, I will see whoever's here from Florida. I might see you in Florida in about 3-4 weeks. So, okay. Shall we see if there are any questions or oh, we can't hear you, Christina. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalia. I said I actually have a question.
Oh dear.
Um, no, a little birdie told me about the Villa d'Este golf course, so I was hoping maybe you could share with our lovely
Yes,
guests.
yes, thank you so much. So probably you might heard about it. It's a very interesting story actually. There is a Villa d'Este golf club that exists since 100 years, okay? And it's called Villa d'Este Golf Club. And it was built by Villa d'Este, but then in the 50s they decided to sell it because as it is, businesses sometimes need cash flow, and it was decided to sell that golf club. And literally last year it came back to where it belongs. So we have it back. It's a beautiful golf club, which is about 30 minutes drive, because who's been on the lake, you know how limited spaces we have here. You can't play golf in the mountains, really, can you? But so it is 30 minutes away drive, but it is a beautiful historical golf club, one of the most beautiful golf clubs actually in the whole Italy, if not Europe. So not many competitions are run there because there is not much space for the visitors to watch, if that makes sense. But it's beautifully kept, and it is a part of Villa d'Este now. So if you have golfers, I mean, it's a beautiful match. Staying at Villa d'Este, going to the Villa d'Este Golf Club, it does feel like Villa d'Este inside. So beautiful establishment.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm so excited about that. I think it's a great feature for clients, you know. Golfers will golf anywhere. They'll
Absolutely.
find the
I
course.
know. They will. And just so you know, I had Justin Timberlake staying here. I shouldn't say that, but I do say that because we're all friends. And they play there. They wanted to play and they loved it. Okay. I didn't know that they're such a golfers with a wife, with Jessica Alba, and they loved a part of the property because they were staying in one of our suites which belonged to the Alfred Hitchcock. Okay. So if somebody wants more, tell me. I'll tell you the story. But they did go to the golf and they absolutely loved it. They spent a day there. So that means that, it is a great extension of Villa d'Este, really.
That's great. I love it. Okay, I will get into a few questions from our participants. Please throw them in the chat if you have any. First, regarding the Miralago apartments, can you elaborate on the kitchens and what they have?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's a fully equipped kitchen. Okay, I would call it more of a kitchenette. And what I would like to say, yes, you can bake there. Okay, but you don't have as much spaces for the preparation. So I don't know if you have somebody who really loves cooking, they might find themselves they don't have much of a space because it's there really, to kind of provide that service. But I would say maybe not so much of a surface for preparation of the food. Now, we do offer also a service of our chefs, okay, which greatly, if you want to have a dinner in your villa, we can get the chef. Obviously, he can cook there, and then, he can, obviously, the food can be, served and everything. I would say that they a great option. I don't know how many of your clients are really getting dirty cooking when they're staying on vacation, and how much of a cooking they making, like a full roast and baking cookies. Not sure. But yes, they can do that. I would still call it more of a kitchenette, because you don't really have the full kitchen as big as we probably, know it. If that would answer the
No, I
question.
think that answers it. We have people saying they want to hear more stories. You
Oh
baited them
my God,
with
I
the
have
Justin Timberlake.
plenty. We have to. You know what? We should have another webinar on that because, I mean, you wouldn't believe what happens here. We should make a movie, but we can't because we're always so busy. So we can't do this. Like, can you imagine if we'd have a movie about Villa d'Este?
I
That would
love
be
it.
so much fun.
I would
And
go to that movie.
sometimes it's not even the famous people, it's just people in general, that there are stories, like crazy stories. But I love it. I love it because I love our guests. They beautiful, they great people. And even if they demanding, we can actually twist them really well, but not twist them, like to make them happy even
Manage
when
them
they're not
well.
happy. We manage it really well in a way. And I think the sense of place, it just makes it different. So but we do have a army of professionals here. That's what we do for living. I
I
deal
love
sometimes with the complaints, can you believe this? And I'm not saying we don't have them because that would be lying to you. Everybody has problems, on the leg. But yeah, I would love to give you some juicy ones. Okay, because I mean, I'll have to. Okay, I'll give you one. Okay, but nobody can talk about it, and we probably not allowed to send this recording. Okay, so this summer we had a little bit of a heavy rain going on, and and as you know, we always prepared for that, like everybody else as well. Unfortunately, on the other side of the lake, which is very important for the ones that they are first time here, it's important which side of the lake you're on. Who is participating to these webinars, you know what I'm talking about because I always talk about it, the sunny part, which is the good side of the lake. So nothing against our lovely competitors on the other side because we love to help them. So what happened? There has been some issues on the other side of the lake with the road. Okay, the road got closed. Can you imagine? So the clients of other properties like Il Sereno and also Mandarin, they couldn't leave. They had to get the boat, okay, to get on the other side. So we facilitated it for them. So they could go through Villa d'Este and go to the airport. And those clients loved it. And we actually had some inquiries on top of that. So, that's so funny because, they just went on the other side, but then they went home thinking about Villa d'Este. And all we wanted to do is just to help the other guys, because they needed help. And we always very helpful. We always help everybody. We're not stealing the clients, okay? We don't do that. We don't need to do that. But just so you know, so there is plenty. And I think we do a separate webinar on that. It might be quite successful stories. I don't know
You
how
have to
much I
save
can
it for the
disclose.
book, Natalia. Cash in. Okay, a small tidbit story there. Thank you for that question. Um, Question about Villa d'Este. How do you know if the suite that you've booked at Villa d'Este has been refurbished?
Well, we can definitely talk to you about it. So a lot of you are very good because you including already Lush, and then you can a lot of you are already including me as well into a lot of correspondence that we're having. So I can give you some ideas. We only have 7 suites. That's very little if you think about it. For 154 rooms in the hotel, only 7 suites, that's very little. So I will know what you're probably gonna get allocated. Okay. So we can definitely discuss it a little bit more into details. And I always say the truth is the best way and the only way. Okay. So if I say to you that you're getting a red suite on the first floor, you will get a red suite, like a very royal red. So some people might love it and they feel it, very connected with it. Some people might say, that's not for me. Okay. So then, you tell me how you feel about it because, I'll tell you exactly what I have. That's what we always try to do. So, most of the time we can really accommodate what you after, but you have to tell me what's the most important. Because if you're going to tell me, I want the mosaic view, but I want the red carpet, I don't want a red carpet, then I might tell you, okay, but you have to compromise on something. So, what would that be? Okay, so we can help you with that. That's for sure.
I think that's a good answer. I find with Villa d'Este, I get that question a lot, and it's a historic property. The rooms are different sizes, the decor is different. So just talking it through can be really
Yes,
advantageous. So everyone out there, please reach out to Natalia, to me, and we can solve those dilemmas.
we
Um,
can.
okay, what is the suggested stay, and do you have a dress code for the restaurants?
Oh, I love that question. So, yes, there is a restaurant called La Veranda, which is the main restaurant of the hotel. And, it is a little formal, a little tiny formal. So, we do require a jacket for the men and long trousers and closed shoes. So, no shorts for lunch. The jacket is not required for lunch, but it is required for dinner. In case somebody travels with their teenage boys that maybe they're 17 or they're really tall and they don't have jackets or they don't travel with jackets, don't worry, we have a selection of jackets with the different sizes, and we happily gonna lend that to you. We're gonna even try the size. So we can do that. No dress codes for the ladies. But let me tell you this, that there is a bit of a fashion show going on here for the actual evenings, and it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful, okay, because you all want to dress up on vacation at least once, and that's the place to do it. It's a grand hotel, okay? So give it to your clients and tell them that it's okay to bring the best dress, okay, and leave it for the dinner at La Veranda at Villa d'Este because they're gonna feel like princesses, okay, and that's how you want to feel. Okay, so and this dress code goes far because we don't have a dress code for the hotel, but I do want to say that the shirtless man in the lobby is not something we would recommend. Like if I see a shirtless man, and it might happen because there is a lot of new money as well, and some of your clients and our clients, they new to this, maybe they just, so, and that's okay because they very they very quick learners, and they take the feedback, and the way how we give the feedback is beautiful. Okay, we don't make anybody feel bad. We want to make feel people comfortable. Okay, that's what the word is. Okay, so so I had to approach sometimes the shirtless man in the lobby and just say nicely, would you like to put the shirt on? And they were happily putting the shirt on because clearly it would shock some of our regulars, but it does happen. So there is no dress code on the property, but it is a grand hotel. So you tell your clients where they're coming, and I think the moment they step in here, they will understand where they are because the sense of place is very, very, I don't want to say overwhelming, but you will understand, where you are. And it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful because, it's a little bit of a preservation of something that we all after today. Sometimes we don't realize that, you know?
No, I think you're right. And it's when you're there, it's so fun to go all out.
Oh,
It
yeah.
sets the tone and it just
Yeah.
feels fabulous.
Yes. And it's
Um,
not about the brands, let's be honest, eh? It's not about putting the flashy brands and feeling like you have to wear some designer stuff. Please don't. We're not about that. We all understated elegance, okay? So you're not going to see too much of a flashy stuff at Villa d'Este, but you will understand, and people who stay here, they really feel like they belong here, and it's beautiful. It really is.
Another question, does Palazzo Venezia have a boat, like a houseboat kept there?
Well, all the boats are at the moment at Villa d'Este. That way we're keeping them because we actually have our piece of, like a station kind of, we do have our marina where all of our boats are. It is possible, obviously, to have fetch the boat from Villa d'Este and use that. All the services of Villa d'Este, it's the same extension. It's kind of like the guest relations. They will, help you out and they will make it happen. So if you need a boat and you want to have some kind of a boat service, yes. At the moment, we don't have the boat for the high season available as a shuttle, okay? Because the boats are very limited on the lake, as you probably all know. It's hard to get them. So at the moment, we do have a car. But keep in mind, it's only 10 minutes drive between Palazzo Venezia and Villa d'Este. It's only 10 minutes. For 10 minutes service of a boat to go between the hotel and one hotel and another, I would reconsider, but that's something, I would say it's more about availability than the money, really. So, so we can look into it.
Okay, thank you for that. Another question, the question probably on everyone's mind, do you offer stays for travel advisors?
Of course we do. We do, but bear in mind that sometimes we're in a buyout, bear in mind that sometimes we have this, really busy moments, okay, on the lake. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, the 4th of July is probably not the date, that I would be able to accommodating you. Probably the best time is, our shoulder season, a little bit lower season. We open for the stays, like, now we're opening in March and we closing on the 7th of January. We definitely can facilitate those stays, when we have more availability, and that will be more of a March, April, and November, and the first part of December, just to be on the safe side. That's probably the timing that I'm more likely going to say yes. And you're more than welcome to go through Lush as well, because we do some nice, very nice fun trips with Lush. So you might consider that. And so that would be the safe time probably to ask for the stay. And then, of course, we extend this is, when we're talking about the hosted stay, and then we do extend as well industry rates. So just let us know if you around. We always try to showcase the property, just so you know. Even if we can't accommodate you, we would try to get you for lunch or dinner, and so you can see the property and you can get a feel. So so definitely let us know.
Thank you for that, Natalia. Yeah, we have actually a fam coming up, a pre-Duco fam. It's already full, I have to say. It filled up like that. Not surprisingly. But genuinely, please do stay in touch with any of us at Lush. We love to work directly with you. We work so closely with our partners like the Villa d'Este Collection. So come to us with the nitty-gritty questions and the inquiries and the VIP requests. We're here to help you in the same time zone, and assist Natalia in that way. Another question, should a client stay in more than one of the properties?
I suppose it depends. We do have a clients, they stay in all of our properties. We have clients coming, depends where they're flying and what the trip is about. Like we would have somebody coming, driving from Florence, staying at Villa d'Este. Or now we have clients, we have very sweet clients, We have some clients that they stay at Villa d'Este and they went to Palazzo Venezia to try it. They were like, we just want to see what's going on there. They never been to the city of Como, but just because there is this extension of Villa d'Este, there is this curiosity as well. Okay, let's just go and see that city, which is really nice to see. And it's the same as well versus from Villa d'Este to Villa La Massa. That once they learn there is a sister property in Tuscany, it's just like that's no brainer. Okay, let's just go and try Villa La Massa, and they tend to fall in love with that because you have to understand we have a lot of extension of our team as well. You know, I have people traveling even from F&B. They helping Villa d'Este and then they go back to Villa La Massa and then the season shifts and there is a buyout and we move people around, you know. So in a way you do get the consistency with the service, that's for sure. And it's very hard today, I suppose. So, you know, so we kept it really well. It does work well, but again, depends on what the client wants to get out of their stay.
Good point, Natalia. And I mean, I love Villa La Massa so much. It's a personal favorite of mine. I can talk all day about it. So anyone wants to chat about pairing Villa La Massa with Villa d'Este, please call me and I will fill you in. We're getting lots of thank yous, Natalia.
Thank you.
People saying they want to hear more about each one. So to the
Oh
advisors saying
dear.
that, call Natalia, call myself. We're happy again to chat about all of the properties. And they're so unique. They're not cookie cutter. They have their own stories to tell and their own vibrancy, and they really are special properties. So please, please do ask us for more. And then the very last is not a question, but more of a comment, which I love, and I had to save it for the last. It says, my parents went to Villa d'Este with my grandparents about 60 years ago, and my mom made my dad promise they would return someday. They're now 84 and 83, so I told my dad he needs to make good on his promise now. I love this, and we hear this all the time, and people have they've celebrated special occasions at Villa d'Este, for instance, and they have standing reservations in the same room for 30 years into
Yeah,
the future.
yeah,
People love the property and it has a heart that you can't replicate. It really does.
absolutely. It's such a, you know what, I mean, it's for you guys as well. You know, once you send and we lucky because we get a lot of feedback from you saying that once you put somebody at Villa d'Este, it's like you kind of you got that client. It's going to stay with you forever because you introduced them to something that they didn't know they needed, wanted, and they fell in love with, and they keep coming back. So that's easy, isn't it? You know, and I think it's special as well because, you know, a lot of your agents are telling me that you leave Villa d'Este for the last because it's a cherry on the cake, because it's, you know, because it is a guaranteed lovely finishing of the trip. They're going back home with this memory of something special. So no matter what happens on the road throughout the stay, you know, we giving you a peace of mind that, you know, those people are going to be looked after. Okay, I can't say it's going to be perfect, but when they're going to leave, they will be happy people. Okay, no matter what happens, and you know, like whatever happens in Villa d'Este stays here. But they will be happy, and we make people happy. We're very good at doing that. So, you know, and that makes you happy too. So, you know, it's a great relationship, I suppose. Try to introduce that property to your clients, and they will love you forever. I think a lot of people you can actually bet on that. So
I
yeah.
think this is true. I know everyone's excited for the promotion you mentioned, so we're going to send a follow-up with the details of that. And I want to thank Natalia. I spent all of last week in person with her here in the US, and I miss you already. So I'm happy to get to spend my morning, a quick little snippet with you
Oh,
today.
thank you.
So great to see your face. Thank you to everyone so much for joining us, and we hope to be in touch with you all very soon. Enjoy the day.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, everyone.